to make a cup of chicken soup, but the woman who was ordering it is Jewish, and she wanted to make sure that the chicken had more of a Jewish flair to it. So instead of having a cracker, holding a cracker up, she wanted the chicken to have a matzo cracker, and instead of it being just plain chicken soup, she wanted it to be a matzo ball soup. So I made these matzo balls, and I had him holding a matzo ball. And in order to get the look of the matzo cracker, I actually went out and bought a package of them. And then I used this to make a mold. You can use this amazing mold putty. It's a two-part epoxy that you mix together, and then you just press it over whatever you want to make a mold of, and it hardens almost immediately. So in 10 or 15 minutes you have a mold. So that's what I did with this, and then out of this mold I actually have a piece of cracker that looks very much like a real cracker. And then I'm going to use this as a model in choosing my glazes so that it looks very realistic, and eventually he's gonna hold it like that. My first favorite tool is this little wooden one that I got from Philippe Ferreau. He's a portrait sculptor, and he did a workshop where he let us use these tools, and then I ordered one from his website. So I was telling the group that if I ever lost this, I would be heartbroken. So I keep a close eye on that. And then my second most favorite tool is this little part of a pen. It's the it allows me to do the shape of the eyes on my chickens. So it's two textures in one. So I get the outside of the iris, and then I get the pupil. So that's that little piece. So if I lost that, I'd be unhappy, but I think I could replace it fairly easily. There's lots of pens out there that are cheap. And then I was saying that the third favorite tool is this metal dental tool, which I really like because I can get really good detail on it. I use this guy to make the textures on the feathers to my chickens, so that's important. And then just in general, I like these rubber tools, because when you get to leather hard clay, you can get really nice sharp lines. And so I use these too.
Why do you use the carving? The feather?
Well, they're not actually carved so much as pressed and impressed. So I use this as a texture tool, basically. So I start from the bottom. I cut this flat so he'd sit in the bowl, but I start from the bottom and I do that all the way around, and just hundreds of feathers all the way around. So it's not really a carving process, which is good because paper clay is hard. It's not hard, it's messy and time-consuming to carve because you get all these fibers that come up, and then you have to take care of that because it looks rough. So anyway, there's that. For the fabric on his hat, I want that to look like fabric, so I use what's that stuff called? The interfacing. You can buy this at a fabric store, and it starts out very hard. It's kind of
Pellon interfacing?
Oh,
that's
I'm
a
not sure what the brand is. This is it's got some kind of a water-soluble starch, I think, in it that makes it really stiff, and that's why they use it on the interfacing for things. I like it because it is stiff and it has a nice, very heavy, clear weave, that you can really see without being giant. So I soak it in water first, and then sometimes I'll put it in my slip, so that I've got slip on it, and then I'll lay it, get rid of that piece of, then I'll lay it actually on the paper clay and rub it with my hand, and it will press the slip through the fibers onto the clay beneath, and then when I lift it off, I'll have the texture in place. You don't always have to do the slip, but if the clay is already dry, you have to have some way of doing that. So, and then I just leave it. And when I glaze it, I'm real careful. I usually use black underglaze, to highlight the texture. So on that sculpture, you know, I washed him with black and then I sponged away everything I didn't want. And I do that with my chickens as well. But on the yellow beaks, I have to be real careful not to get black on the beak. And in this case where I've got a white toque, you know, a chef's hat, I don't want there to be a lot of black on that. I don't want it to be gray. So I have to be really careful about putting it on there. So the texture is not so obvious, but it's kind of soft like fabric. Yeah. It's kind of interesting to get that. Boredom beads, I call them boredom beads. Yeah. And when I'm sitting around and I'm doing something, like I'm waiting for something, I don't know what, but you know, I can't do something. And I have a bit of clay, so I just do a head and then, you know, leave it to dry, and then when I do my kiln, I just throw it in there. And then the next time I do a glaze, I do a wash on it and I throw that in. But anyway, I was intending to give people one of these.
It's like a ceramic sketch.
It is. It's a doodle. There we go.
Can I have a
clay doodle? It's a clay doodle. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you.
I should take them all off and people could just choose what they want.
Putty to
But they're all different. I use different clays, so you can get an idea. So this is chicken version 1. I'm trying to figure out how to do a bird bath that works with a pump and everything. So we did this one first, and the dog has left us a gift. Don't go too close. Anyway, so I wasn't really too pleased with this. I didn't quite have the same effect that I wanted. It was a little large, and I thought it would be better to have an actual tub for the bird to be in. So instead of using something like that, I want to make something myself. So we're gonna.
Okay, shoot.
So this is chicken version 2, and as you see, we went ahead and did the royal we, I went ahead and made an actual tub, and it has a plug in here, so if you need to drain the water, you can just pull the plug out and let the water out. I shouldn't have done that now that I think about it. So anyway, it does have a pump, which is not too effective right now. So we're working on that. Part of the problem is the pump is not fully submersed. Oh well, anyway. So you can see why we test these, you know. There's several things to test. You want to make sure that the bird fits the tub and that this works properly, that you have a strong enough pump, all that stuff. So once we figure out the details, I should be able to actually use this as a commercial product. So I use my side yard, my garden, as a sort of a testing area for outdoor ceramics to make sure that before I sell something I get, you know, the right combination of whatever. And in this case I'm doing these flower pots, and so I was testing whether these leaves would fit firmly enough so they won't fall out, but as you can see I've lost a lot. And this one actually fell off the stem. The problem is that aluminum, you can't solder aluminum, so I have to use some kind of adhesive, and a lot of adhesives don't wear well outside, so that's what I'm testing and see which ones work and which don't. Eventually what I'm planning on is having the stalks, 3 stalks with some kind of leaves, and then people can choose the kind of flowers that they want. So, you know, there'll be daisies and there'll be sunflowers and maybe roses. I don't know what, something like that. So that's coming.